This morning, I went to have my breakfast in a quiet neighborhood in Verona. Afterwards, taking a short walk away from the cafe for some fresh air, I find myself reflecting on the over 1,000 interviews I've hosted on the Obehi podcast over the years. Sitting in that quiet environment, a question kept returning to me. How many of us are spending our finest intellectual energy building inside a system that will never bear our name simply because we were taught to forget our own foundations? I wonder what difference that even makes in our lives.
I chose when halfway through my studies of classical music to honor the ancestors, those that have gone on before that didn't have a voice. They were not allowed to express themselves. Those ones that created the songs in the fields, cotton fields, in the tobacco fields, in the rice fields. Those ones that were not allowed to read or write, but still were clever enough, and I believe received divine guidance to put maps when they were braiding their hair, so that people would know where to go and what to avoid. Clever enough to write escape routes inside of songs and hide them within the biblical notions that they had been taught. Clever enough to know the divine, the creator, doesn't make rubbish. And you can try to stamp out the light as much as you possibly can. But what the creator has put there, no man or beast can stamp out.
Do you think we have been operating inside a subtle mental cage where Western extraction is called modern science, where our original way of knowing are dismissed? As Dr. Luyaluka reveals, what if our spiritual heritage wasn't a collection of blind beliefs at all, but an exact deductive science? I wonder if you think in that line.
History of Science, Smith-Williams insists that all Egyptian science is eminently practical. According to that nature, any text of the Egyptian religion is intended either to have the initiate regain the nature of child of God he has lost, or it is intended to hide the divine truth from the foreigners, that is, from the inquisitive Grecian students. To hide the religious teachings from the foreigners was one of the obsessions of the Egyptian. We have been convinced that our religion is a superstitious one, a devilish one. It is witchcraft. We have been told that the religion of the West is the highest one. It is a science. Now, thanks to the Kemetic cosmological argument, we can prove that the original nature of the religion of the black people, which is the religion of ancient Egypt, is an exact science, which means that ours is the highest form of religion, because the Western lexicographers recognize that religion for them is just a belief, which means that their religion is a mere belief. Now ours is a science.
When the conqueror burned the ancient library and then turned around to say those things weren't there in the first place, were they attempting to erase the underlying scientific source code? Let's ask the sovereign oracle. What is the implication of destroying historical African texts? And how does the concept of Mahat restore this knowledge?
They did not only burn the artifacts, they did burn also books of magic. So we have to ask ourselves, to whom belong those books of magic? They could not belong to the white people because they were supposed to burn only black people things. So those books of magic belonged to the black people. Now, we know that when the European came to Africa, they had the knowledge of the paper, while the African people and mostly the bunch of people didn't know about the use of the paper. They knew only the use of the parchment, so that when the white people showed to them the paper book, the common people said, "Oh, it is a skin." So they called it a skin, which means Nkanda. So they could not call it a skin if they didn't have the skin which they used for writings. So you see, we had books. The Benin people had writings. All of this has been destroyed.
Seeing how systematically our foundational texts were suppressed, isn't it easy to understand why so many diaspora executives and founders feel depleted today? How often do we drain our energy by trying to excel inside corporate structures that were never designed for our success? As Professor Esan explains, what happens when we stop treating life as a career ladder and start asking what our Ori, our true inner self, choose before time?
The very concept of destiny is one of the fundamental principles of Ifa theology. And that speaks volume when you look at the psychology of purpose and fulfillment. Now, the question here is that, does life has a meaning? Ifa theology and the three Abrahamic religion believes and teaches the concept of finding a sense of meaning in life through destiny. So Ifa says that Ori, which means literally your head, chooses your destiny, then you come to this world, and that destiny is what brings you a sense of meaning and fulfillment, not in your career. If I goes to the fact that before you choose a career, ask your Eleda, ask your Ori, what you have been chosen in eternity before time. Now, the Ifana went further. They have a concept called Ori Innu. The Ifa concept, that is the Ifa concept of the inner self. Wow, this is beautiful now. Watch this. Your true essence is your inner self. Okay? Now, Ori is the mystery of consciousness. Ori Innu is a mystery within a mystery. It is the invisible self within the self. Do you see that? The invisible self within what? The self. And that is what we call the transpersonal self in transpersonal psychology. So the invisible self within the self, okay, is what the world is waiting for to manifest. And that is what gives you fulfillment and a sense of meaning in life.
If our true essence is this invisible inner self that Professor Esan describes, why do we let the modern workplace convince us that our value ends when a contract or job title expires? What if true legacy isn't something you leave behind in an office, but a transmissible ancestral intelligence? Notice how Dr. Luyaluka described this continuous connection between intuition, communication, and ancestral wisdom.
Intuition is someone talking to you. Intuition is just an ancestor speaking to you. The more you listen to him, the more clear he will be speaking to you. The less you listen to him, he will be discouraged and go. What I mean here is that those who had those knowledge are still there. When they had gone, they didn't tell you that I'm dying. No, I don't know an African elder who, when he came to the last point, he said that he will die. No, they say, I'm making a trip, I'm going. So they know that they are still there. They are just turning their back. And they know that they still can communicate with you. In reality, those people who possess that knowledge, those knowledge, cannot go higher unless they communicate that knowledge with us.
When we piece together this conversation from Angela's reflection on ancestral resilience to Dr. Luyaluka's explanation and Professor Esan's teaching on Ori Innu, we arrive at a crossroad. Is it enough to simply study this truth intellectually, or are we being called to manifest them in our daily lives? Now, let's listen to how both Professor Esan and Angela Williams describe this return to inner divine alignment.
Our people can be liberated, and then you can come and manifest your Ori Innu, what Eledumare has sent you to deliver to humanity, what we call the principle of self-manifestation. Because the highest beauty of life is to manifest yourself.
Seek first the kingdom of the divine which is inside, and then everything else will be added onto you. That is my advice. Okay, seek first. So it's not within the church building, it's not within the mosque, it's not within the synagogue. It is first inside. And then if you seek that inside and then you connect with that divine, then it will be much harder for people to deceive you, right? And you'll be able to see truth and light from dark and deception.
If seeking that inner connection is where truth begins, how do we actually translate all those into our daily lives? For over 14 years, we have been gathering experiences across the African continent and the diaspora, conducting over 1,000 deep interviews. In fact, I just finished to interview a former Vice Chancellor from South African University just now, and before I started to do this recording. And we do this on a continuous basis, gathering information and synthesizing that living archive into a collective intelligence grounded entirely on African and the diaspora values. That is what we call the Sovereign Oracle. Now, let's ask the Sovereign Oracle, what does a practical step-by-step daily framework for aligning our Ori Innu actually look like?